Hello, everyone. This is the Easy Allies podcast. I'm your moderator, Kyle Bossman, and joining us this week, Bradley Ellis.
Howdy.
Daniel Bloodworth.
Hello.
Brendan Jones.
How are you?
And Ian Hink. Ma'am.
We got it. Good.
Howdy. It's time to play Recruit Me. This is where patrons of Easy Allies submit RPG characters to join our party. This is submitted by Rammer. I am a small elf who escaped the evil clutches of Santa Claus, who once regarded me as his best combat elf.
Too real.
I have incredible speed and agility for instant takedowns, but unfortunately I have a mark on my head created by my former Master Santa, which he can use to control me to do his evil bidding. It becomes stronger the closer he is to me, but I have so far successfully fought his attempts to bring me back to his lair. My name is Yippee. Would you have me join this party?
No.
No, this guy's bad vibes.
I don't have anything to do with this.
Hard
I'm
out.
sorry.
Yippee is asking for help right now.
I'm sorry, Yippee. You're barking up the wrong tree. Yippee.
I don't like introducing Santa into the narrative.
I don't like the fact that Santa exists in this world
No, I
now.
don't want Santa existing in this world.
It's too late. Like
Yeah,
Santa,
it's too late.
Whether Yippee lives or dies, Santa is part of the canon.
Because
And he's bad.
Yeah, this is not only his combat elf, it's his best combat elf.
Yes.
So there's like a whole wing of combat elves, I guess.
And he like brands
What on earth would
them?
he need those for?
I think there are only 15 combat elves.
Okay.
So it's not a whole wing. He's just got a bunch of combat elves.
I mean, is this like Reindeer Academy side
Yeah.
lore, I guess.
Yeah, it's going off that.
Yeah.
And while I want to see Reindeer Academy, I don't want to live in Reindeer Academy.
This is so different.
He's a liability.
Okay.
I don't want him around.
This sounds to me like there are zero yeses.
Nah.
Zero.
Nah.
Is this the first unanimous?
This is the hardest out I've ever seen everybody.
Well, his name's Yippee, so no thanks.
I was like, it's like we're almost over Thanksgiving. It's almost part of the holiday season. Like I was really feeling this one. I thought we had to take her. Okay,
Too soon.
Too soon.
Yeah.
We will see if Yippee survives at the end of this podcast.
Oh, dear.
For now, it's time for corrections. Begin corrections music, please. More corrections about first, second, and third world countries. Sometimes I'm breezing through comments and not really ingesting them as much as I should. So let's get this straight.
Okay.
Those designations started in the Cold War, after World War II.
Okay.
First world countries, NATO. Second world countries, communist bloc. Third world countries, still neither of those two things. You know, we're out of this. So that's as they started. Is it was more like not about economic strength, but just politically. These are the three different groups of this planet, and obviously those meanings don't mean too much today. And I do believe that first world country, third world country is more of an economic statement today, as opposed to a political one, a political designation. But yeah, we got to get the roots right. We got to know why they said first world, second world, third world. It's because we didn't want the communists to be first world. It's like, no, you're second, bud. Sorry. Crackdown 3 developers confirmed that the bulk of development time was spent making the cloud destruction work. Okay, I'll take their word for it. We had a lot of guesses last week, Blood. Like, it could have been this, it could have been that. Here's the thing. I don't know if they nailed it, you know?
Well, it better be amazing.
Yeah, like
Yeah. If you feel comfortable enough to say that publicly.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Right.
That building better fall like nothing I've ever seen before.
And I don't think it does fall like nothing you've ever seen before, you know?
We'll see.
We'll see in like gameplay. I think it'll be
Yeah.
interesting to watch on Twitch. I think that's what we need more than
Video
anything.
Jones. I need you to compare Just Cause 4
Okay.
and Crackdown.
All right.
And see
'Cause that's
which
the
one
thing.
comes out on top.
Just Cause 4, I feel like presented spectacle at E3. I feel like it successfully
Sure.
showed off something that's like, well, you know what? I haven't seen this. The tornado's insane, and then just the debris that rotates around the tornado, and you're in that yourself. Crackdown 3 needs that.
Have we seen Crackdown 3 in the day?
I don't know if there is a day.
I think we
I
have.
don't remember it.
Yeah.
The trailers get very fast cuts during the E3 ones, the two I've seen.
Isn't Crackdown 1 on Game Pass now? I'm like tempted
Yes.
to go grab that.
Probably.
And it's like free.
Yeah.
That was one of their announcements. Crackdown 1 free.
Oh, it's just
I just
Go
remember
get it.
Terry Crews from E3. Was
Yeah.
he E3?
Yeah, and he was also at
That's all I remember
XO18,
from it.
dude. Yeah. No, they had some gameplay moments. I remember like explosions, like maybe a robot
There's
suit.
a lot more vehicle stuff.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
The Game Awards Game of the Year nominees were in alphabetical order because the official title is Marvel's Spider-Man.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. The
It is on our site too.
Sorry?
We have Marvels on front of it too.
On our site?
Yeah.
What do you mean? We don't have a website. We do. We absolutely do. Go check out easyallies.com for our schedule in your time zone. Like, I'm so used to saying that, Blood, and I don't even, like, think about it.
Yeah. And well, we also have the reviews that you can sort through by, you can sort by who wrote them, and you can sort by the score, and you can see all the scores.
It's actually a really cool functional
That's actually,
page.
that's a good
sick.
resource.
Yeah.
Blood, I never sell it that way, and I think that's actually good.
Yeah, well, and all the scripts are there too, so you can actually read through the script. Like, if you're afraid of visual spoilers, you can go there and just read the review.
Yeah, and, like, some people just don't like Jones's voice.
Blood's here to sell it.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Last correction. Last week we talked about the GS ball more in Pokemon, and I said, we never got that in the US. Turns out, the 3DS version, the Virtual Console re-release of Pokemon Crystal, had the GS ball in it. And I was like, get out of town. I'm reading this comment, flip open my 3DS, and I go and I get that ball for myself.
Nice.
It's real. It's
Nice,
real.
dude.
Yup. Yes. And you take it to the Pokeball guy, and he's like, whoa, this is a GS ball. And so you give it to him. He's like, I got to look at this. It's going to take me a day. Come back in 24 hours. That's already cool. So 24 hours real time because Gold and Silver had
wow.
a real clock.
Oh.
So you come back to him, and he's like, you're never going to believe this. This is a GS ball. I got to hand it back to you. You might want to check out Elex Forest. I'm like, okay. What's weird is he disappears. And then immediately talk to his granddaughter, and she's like, I miss my grandfather.
Oh.
Anyway, you go to Elex Forest, and for the first time in the entire game, the trees are moving. The forest is reacting to the GS ball. And so it's just like the trees are shaking, the bushes are shaking, and you go up to the little, what is it called? Like it's a tiny thing that will appear in a temple, the shrine. You go up to the shrine, you put the GS ball in it, and Celebi shows up, flies in from the top of the screen, and then you get to catch it.
That's amazing.
It was really cool.
Cool, man.
I like that you also had a crystal save ready to go on your 3DS.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like in progress.
Yep.
Nice.
Completed. It was like a 100%er, you know? And correction music, please. Love that. That was probably
Yeah, that's really cool, man.
most helpful correction of all time. If you can beat it, please do. But man, sometimes reading all the comments really does you some good. We have, before we even get to news, we have a really exciting update, and you know I love updates. A couple of weeks ago, we talked about Rainbow Six Siege. Changing a couple of textures, a couple of the things in a map.
For China, right?
For China, for the global version. Today, Ubisoft said we're not doing that anymore.
Ooh, nice.
Yes, they said we're reverting the changes. Their apology is kind of fun. We have been following the conversation with our community closely over the past couple of weeks, alongside regular discussions with our internal Ubisoft team, and we want to ensure that the experience for all our players, especially those that have been with us from the beginning, remains as true to the original artistic intent as possible. No, you did this because you were review bombed. You did this because people were outraged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the artistic intent was there the whole time. So, like, it's so hard to be on this podcast and tell people not to review bomb when it works. It's just another case of it working.
I also think, I don't know if you said this or if somebody messaged to me on social media, but, like, my understanding of how the reviews are structured that way was off. Like, the people aren't assigning it a score.
It's just a thumbs up or
thumbs
thumbs down.
thumbs down.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, I apologize if I said a lot of things that were
Yeah.
off base because I didn't know what I was talking about.
But, like, Metacritic doesn't check. Steam absolutely is, like, checking your thing, but, like, a Metacritic user score, you could review bomb, and they're not going to check.
Okay.
So yeah, that was kind of interesting. They said that because of this, there might be delays in new versions coming out, and instability as our testing and debug times are shortened. I guess because there will be two different versions of the games that you're going to have to certify every time there's a new build. But I think it's the right thing to do.
Yeah.
It was the thing that won't make people mad.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a couple of weeks.
Crazy.
Yeah. So hey, keep review bombing.
I was going to say, no, we were wrong, you know?
So funny.
Real hard to mount an argument
Keep
there.
review bombing.
Keep review. Like what? Like what can I tell you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like what can I possibly say? It gets results. Like why? Yeah. There's nothing. There's no other thing to say.
It's funny. A developer reached out to me on Twitter, who had a smaller game and was review bombed, just because, for I don't know, more like politicized reasons, I guess. So like sometimes it's not for any reason other than just
Right.
blasting a thing.
Did this person write to you because we're supporting review bombs on this podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel bad then.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think that's way different.
I mean, I just think it's like anything, right? Like, it's a tool that can be wielded for good or evil, you know?
Yes. Yeah, 100% that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess for me, it's just like that's not the purpose of the review. So it's like I'm curious if people had sent feedback through all the other ways and not done that, you know, is that really what the tipping point is, or is it just the impression we get because it's hugely visible, you know?
Yeah, right. And we talked about, you know, the Sony and the PlayStation 4 and Fortnite and going multi-platform that obviously wasn't review bombed, but there was pressure from social media and every place that people talk on the internet, they were mad about
Right.
that thing.
I mean, even Nintendo and Microsoft were.
Yeah.
Taking jabs at
yeah.
him.
And so, yeah, you're right. They totally were. And so, yeah, there are other avenues, and other avenues totally work. Yeah. So, yeah, it's weird. You don't know if that's a direct result, but I totally think it is. I don't think it was the internal talks with the community about artistic intent. You know, it was outrage. And they're like, how do we stop the outrage? Cool, though. This week's news. It's weird. There's a certain weird order because all these things are so intrinsically tied to each other, these new things. Let's start, I guess, chronologically with what dropped last week. We learned that Sony, the kings of E3,
Yeah.
will not be
Wow.
at
Seems
E3
like a month ago
2019.
they announced that. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy, man.
They're not going to be there.
This is insanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear their excuse?
Yes.
Here's what they said.
Yeah.
As the industry evolves, Sony Interactive Entertainment continues to look for inventive opportunities to engage the community. This is their statement. I guess they gave this one to Game Informer, but probably others, but I pulled it from Game Informer. Thank you, Game Informer. PlayStation fans mean the world to us, and we always want to innovate, think differently, and experiment with new ways to delight gamers. As a result, we have decided not to participate in E3 in 2019. We are exploring new and familiar ways to engage our community in 2019 and can't wait to share our plans with you.
You know what? The first thing that came to my mind with this was, what is E3 charging these people? Like, because EA got
So
out.
much.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Sony's getting out. I would not be surprised if Sony just does a direct and starts doing that. Because really, like, why wouldn't you? Kind of, to a certain extent.
Yeah, it's
Like,
almost...
they're already having preview events for
But
everything.
they're not going to be on the show floor at all, right?
Yeah.
That's the other thing, yeah, is like they're not even... And Brad, let's talk about this. The show floor, this is what I was stunned by. It's like, because I think a lot of people's immediate reaction was like, well, they're just going to show the same 3 games from last year. They won't have a cool show. It's like, yeah, but the demos would be sick.
Yeah, you get to actually play them.
People
this
be
time.
playing Last of Us Part 2 on the show floor, that like the
Ghost
reaction would be
Tsushima,
huge.
all that.
Yes.
But I think those are both games that they don't want people to do that. Like, it's just super story-heavy games with a lot of spoiler potential. You know, they don't want the public just walking up to E3. Like, I really wonder how much the E3 going public is influencing this.
Blood turns out huge. So I
Yeah.
got to give a shout out to Ebo Show, who in love and respect grabbed this quote and it's like, yeah, we're going to talk about this anyway, but that's actually, I totally forgot this happened. So PSX last year, do you remember that was the couch?
Yeah,
Greg
yeah.
Miller was interviewing people. He had Sean Layden on the couch, who said some really interesting things about E3 that at the time didn't register with me. But you got to hear what he said. It's like, it totally makes sense what's happening right now. So Sean Layden said, I'll be honest with you guys. I think the ESA sold 15,000 consumer tickets for that, and it really brought the crowd to the edge of pain. And I won't bore you guys with the details around that, but if you're going to design a trade show or a consumer show, those are 2 different beasts. E3 is like the middle of a highway. It's going to get hit by cars on both sides, and it's got to choose a lane to be in. Sean Layden clearly doesn't like E3.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
I totally forgot that.
Crazy.
Yes.
Because here's the thing. The lines are nuts now.
Yeah.
And with PlayStation, like, you got to do the app appointment thing. And, of course, the Wi-Fi sucks in the convention center. So it's just a gigantic pain in the butt unless you're behind closed doors. But then even that is kind of limited because all the space has to be for the lines. Like, you look at, like, the Sony and Nintendo booths the past couple of years, all the space has been for the lines. And Microsoft has, like, gotten out of the convention center altogether and gone down to the Microsoft Theater
Yep.
down the street. It's it's really kind of made everything a mess because just 2 or 3 years ago, you could walk in that Sony booth and you could find some indie developer that didn't have any line whatsoever and just walk up and play a game that you'd never heard of before.
Yeah.
And now it's like just gigantic lines for like theater
It's
experiences.
like if you don't have an appointment, you're not playing anything, or you're waiting all day to play one game.
Right.
Pretty
Yes.
much.
Microsoft was on the floor last year, right?
No.
No, they were in the Microsoft Theater, which counted as sort of the floor, but because of the baggage restrictions and weirdness,
yeah.
it was really kind of difficult to even know that like that was an option.
It was like what EA does. EA has their
Right.
own
No,
stuff.
I mean they were still officially part of E3.
Oh, I didn't know
but they
that.
were just in a different building.
Yeah, that's funny. It was walking distance from the convention center. I guess
Yeah.
it kind of makes
Yeah.
sense. This is crazy though,
Yeah,
because
it's
for
nuts.
so long, basically since E3 was called E3, and even before that, when it was the Consumer Electronics Show, Sony's been at E3.
Yeah.
Sony's been huge at E3. Sony cared about E3, won many E3s, lost many E3s. I think last year losing E3 is definitely a factor in this as well. I think Sean Layden didn't like reading the tweets that came after last year's E3. I
They
think
put on a terrible show.
yeah, and it was an expensive, terrible show.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah,
real
go ahead.
quick. If we, let's say 2 years ago,
Uh-huh.
that's when they made public tickets, right?
Yeah.
If the ESA had put out a tweet or like a straw poll that had said okay, everybody, pick A or B. We're gonna make E3 public, but Sony, Microsoft, and EA won't be in it, or it's gonna stay how it is, and Sony, Microsoft, and EA will be in it, and no public access. Which do you think would have won?
Are we voting or who's voting?
Like everybody, the populace, not the industry.
I mean, the populace would have voted to go to E3.
right? Even though it's like crappy E3.
Yeah, because the thing is, you like the press conferences. You like 2 days of solid press conferences. I just think for the ESA, they're making this convention, right? They're doing E3 every year. I think they had to survive, do the public thing.
Yeah.
But it's right. Sean Layden's right. It kind of ruined it. It's got to be one or the other. And when it's both at the same time, it's not functioning correctly.
Well, I don't think it necessarily has to be one or the other, but the way it's designed is not working out. And I know I'm not the only person that suggested this, but like the way Gamescom is set up, and Tokyo Game Show to some degree, is just way better because you've got like days for the press and the industry to be there. And then you've got the weekend where it's just crazy, and a lot of people in the industry leave town. When the public walks in, a lot of people just leave Gamescom and do not go back. And that's fine because then all that's left are those public booths and people can party or whatever. And I just don't understand. I know there's a lot less space at E3 to accommodate all of that, but I don't understand why they don't go for that kind of model where they just add an extra day, give the industry some time to actually do what they're there to do, get everybody hyped, and then public comes in and takes it over.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird because there was even like last year some of those like Comic-Con stores, you know what I mean, where they just sell like a bundle of like mystery boxes.
Yeah.
It's becoming very consumer. I think that's the way for it to survive, become more like Comic-Con. It's just a bummer that, I think Sony is wisely backing out of this. Jones, I'm curious how you feel about this from PR opportunity, not even PR, a promotional opportunity, a marketing opportunity. Do you think E3 is not worth it?
For who? I think
For
that's
Sony.
I think
For
that's
somebody
the
big
question.
like Sony.
Sure. Yeah, I think Sony can survive without E3. They're gonna be fine. Like I think they've learned a lot about. They've experimented a lot with their live events in recent, recent years. Like when PSX first came out, it was huge, but like they've had some misses with how they present themselves at those shows. And it's funny like how much we made fun of the couch stuff, but like so many cool quotes came out of that interview.
Turns out,
like there's so many things.
We got casual,
changing
real
profile
Sean
names,
Layden, yeah.
and like so it was interesting, and I think. They can afford to experiment. They're right at the cusp of a whole new generation and the whole new product. And so, like, I think they're really saving all of their pennies for, like, when that's going to happen so that they can promote it the way they want to. It's fascinating to get this announcement so far out, closer to last E3 than the next one, you know, and so really shows you. I mean, obviously they're different companies have different fiscal years, but it's like they're approaching 2019, and so, you know, before they hit January, I'm sure they want to like make this decision. It is weird for them to say this. What is a weird trust issue is for them to back out of E3 with nothing else.
Yes.
You know, to kind of be like, yeah, we're experimenting with stuff. You know, so I guess like when they announce that later, when, you know, in February or March or whatever, they're like, hey, boom, here's, you know, our PS5, you know, launch event, or PSX. We're going to do it now, you know, and not at the end of the year, not in December. I think they're totally fine. What's interesting about E3 is that, like, for me, what sucks about the whole thing kind of dismantling, everybody like bailing and, you know, we're going to do our own thing over here. EA's like, we're going to be 10 minutes away, and Xbox, like, we're going to be in our own
10 minutes
theater.
away, dude. That's
yeah, I
a
wish.
45 drive.
And
Really?
it should be 10
Dude,
minutes
yeah,
away.
it's
You know? You can like see it. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not that far, but it's just LA. Just driving in LA sucks. Is one thing that always frustrates me, and I'll always say this, is that like when the Oscars happen, it's just the world watches. You know, when it's like the Olympics
Yes.
happen, like, everybody freaks
Yeah.
out. And like
That's E3,
every
man.
every entertainment business has at least one event, sometimes many more, that like everybody just freaks out and like you got to know about it. And like people even in 2017 just didn't really care about. Even 2018, it's like, oh, E3, whatever. It's like, oh, did you hear, like, or they, what was it? Nintendo announced something, and I saw some report that said it was wrong or something. It was like, oh, they got new fighting games. We're talking about Smash, and you're just like, it's not a new fighting game. It's like, it's a franchise established or something. There's some headline I saw, like the LA Times. It was like, wrong.
got
You're
you,
wrong.
got you.
Like
Yes.
all the
Oh,
people you
sure.
have there, you don't have
Yeah.
like one person that's actually like interested in this. And so it's like, what is it going to take for us to have that event that everyone shows up to? There's a huge deal every year. Is that going to happen? Is the gaming industry so different that like it's just too new and it's too quick to adapt to trends? Whereas I'm sure there's a lot of people in the business who are like, I hate the Oscars. There's a lot of things that are probably kind of stuck in the rut of how they're used to producing those things. And so it makes sense. But what makes me feel bad is like, you know, when you were like, oh, it's just gonna be like a crappier E3. Like, I guess that's PAX. You know, it's like if I was if I was somebody like I remember seeing like Wargaming there one year, but I'm trying to think just like not like a smaller indie, not like a 2-3 man team that you would see at PAX, but like a smaller developer, Devolver. You know, it's like
Yeah,
like
Deep
they're doing
Silver,
they're doing really interesting things, and like they just might be shut out. Like we might just get to a point where like oh, we're just not doing E3 anymore, but like we'll have our own events, and like you have these kind of mid-tier publishers where we can't afford to do that. Like we need to have this event where all you guys come into the same city. You know, we can't afford to fly you out for a preview event. Like it's just great to put all our eggs in this basket and show up when it's party time.
Right.
And we all kind of fight for attention, and that's fine. And we know we're going to be C, D, E tier and whatever, you know, just as long as we have eyeballs and we can have meetings with people because they flew out on their own dime because there was a lot going on.
Yeah.
And like if we don't have that event, like I don't know what replaces that.
Right.
And
So-
that's
So, Brad, my next question is: do you think it would be poor form if Sony has a direct during E3?
If they have a direct?
Yeah, if they have their own video, they don't have a press conference, they're not on the show floor, but they still put out a video around E3.
That's like shots at E3.
It would be, right?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, that's basically what EA does.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my assumption for what they're gonna do.
I kind of, I wouldn't be surprised if that.
Yeah,
happened,
I
Well,
mean,
they've
right?
said that they're not having a conference.
Oh, they have said no
Right.
conference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but that's very specific language. Like,
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if they did a direct.
It's not
and
the exact language. Yeah, I don't remember. The
they
exact
said
language.
conference, no conference. I wouldn't be surprised if they did a direct and
special
a bunch
video.
of demos that you can
Yeah.
download
Oh man, right? Like
at home.
that'd
Like,
be
why
fun,
not?
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly think that, you know, like we're talking a lot about E3 evolving and all this stuff, and Sean Layden hating it, but I really think that realistically, this is probably a 1 year break more than anything.
You think 2020 they'll be back?
Yeah, I think
They're
they'll
wrapping up.
absolutely
Yeah,
be back. I
probably,
think that we're in this weird part of their cycle where it's
The
like
end.
they've got Ghost of Tsushima and they've got Last of Us
Last of Us,
2,
yeah.
and they're like, are we going to spend millions of dollars to bring these two games to E3
Right.
and then try to fill it in with some extra VR things like, you know, they've been doing? And it's not early enough for them to show off PlayStation 5 and everything they have cooking for it.
Yeah.
And
That's a
I
good
think
point.
that's really what it comes down to. Is it's the timing of when PS5 products are going to be ready is not going to line up with E3, and when they want to bring stuff to the public.
Yeah.
I think maybe if it wasn't a public show, they would be okay with bringing what they have
Yeah.
to the industry.
Sounds like just a lot of things building up. Like a lot of things like public and like Bloodset not being able to show everything yet. And they're just like, you know what? This year it's not worth it, I guess.
Yeah, and so I think that's what a lot of people are inferring is that the inevitable PlayStation 5 may have been another factor in this decision.
Sure, yeah.
And so I kind of want to talk about that because, yeah, that was like a lot of people are on like, oh, so PS5 2020, they just didn't want it'd be a weird time to announce it. And there was a rumor that came out this week that I won't talk too much because I'm not sure I believe it. I'm not sure it's too credible. That the PS5 will be announced in 2019, and it got picked up around places. But then Jason Schreier of Kotaku published an article. I need to give you the headline: Sources: the PlayStation 5 is still a ways off. And so in this. Jason Schreier said, I've been talking to developers all the time, which we totally believe because he clearly does. I think he said dozens. I've spoken to dozens of game developers across a variety of disciplines and studios about the next generation of consoles. Of those, 2 people said that they were directly familiar with plans for Sony's new console. Those two people both told me that the next PlayStation is unlikely to release in 2019, let alone 2018, although they were careful to be clear that the plans have always been shifting. So, wrote an entire article basically about like it's not 2019, everybody, like don't get your hopes up for that. The dev kits are not widely spread, not a lot of people have those, not like more people would know about it at this point if it was going to be 2019. And so basically an entire
Well,
article,
if it was going to be 2019, then they would be ready to show that stuff at E3.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when it was launched in 2013, it was announced in February. Show it up at E3, another event I think after that, and then launch.
Yeah.
That ruled.
Yeah, and I think
yeah.
like another thing that we see, and again how E3 is changing everything, is anytime we would have new hardware, they would have those glass cases and everything to like show it off, have the like press photos and everything.
They still have those.
You'd never be able to get to it if you're like a photojournalist. You'd have like they'd have to have another separate room for people to take photos of the freaking things.
Yeah.
And even when it was an industry event, there was always problems with people doing stupid crap with that hardware.
What are you talking about?
Back in 2000, was it 2000 or 2001? I think it was 2001. Somebody snipped, like Wirecutter, snipped the GameCube controller.
And took it home?
And then went and put it on eBay like a big dummy.
Oh, and then got busted.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Is it the one with the big red start button, like it was the proto GameCube one?
No, it was like the final design of the
okay.
GameCube controller, but like it was out there for people to play for the first time in the U.S. And somebody's like, "Beep, I'm taking this with me."
And then was promptly arrested.
Yep, got him.
So yeah,
I think it's just the void. There's a
ahead.
void, right? There's this giant black hole that's just amassing around Sony in 2019, where it's like we've seen all the new games, you have no new announcements, no E3, no PSX, no events announced. Like it just seems like Sony like knows we're all waiting, and like that's where they want us to just all be freaking out about.
That's what's
no release date for Dreams. Like
that's what's crazy to me is like they have plenty announced, plenty coming. This lineup with Death Stranding, with Ghosts of Tsushima, with The Last of Us Part 2, with Dreams.
Days Gone.
Days Gone. Well, Days Gone
Days
we
Gone
have
be
a
out
hard
by
release
then,
date
yeah.
for,
Well,
but
yeah,
absolutely, yeah. Like 2019 looks awesome. 2019 looks incredible. Like it looks like it's going to be the best year Sony's ever had. And so it's so weird to me to be like, yeah, I get why they're cooling off. It's like, what? This is when you go hard. You're going to have the best year of your life. Of that console's life is going to be 2019.
Unless they just don't think they need to.
What do you mean?
Like, I think there's a possibility that they just think they've already won and don't need to waste the money. Like, why spend advertising money if you know everyone's already in?
Yeah,
You know?
and I mean, part of that's true. Obviously, advertising you have to spend to stay up, to stay relevant.
And they will with commercials and everything, but
I think it's possible to overspend at E3 where you can get a better return on investment just having your own events.
yeah.
I just think for a couple years in this gen, they had this really nice roller coaster, this mild roller coaster up and down of going from announcements to release, like going from events to like lulls and news about Sony, and then it would pick back up around another event, and it's just dipping. You know, it's just like slowly building up to like something's gonna happen, and I don't know what it is, and I'm just nervous that whenever that happens, Sony's not gonna meet expectations or they'll have some announcement about the PlayStation 5, but it'll be kind of confusing, and we don't really have a date around it or something. Or I just hope that they handle it correctly. Because it would make sense to me that like they take that PSX money, take that E3 money, put it all into PS5 marketing, just all into this new console. Because like you were saying,
But you
it's
got to
like,
market those 4 games, Jones. Unless you're considering them
Yeah,
a part
well,
of your
of course,
PS5
yeah,
budget.
yeah, but I
like,
just-
you have the hugest games of the year. Like, that's crazy to me to not advertise those
I
games.
just think so many people own PS4s. I think you can do that. You don't need to do that at an event. Like you don't need to have us press people like tell you Ghost of Tsushima's pretty. I just think.
Well, they're gonna do that anyways.
Yeah.
At some point.
But I think they can have their own preview events, and they don't necessarily need to
Yeah,
show up at these big things.
true.
But and I'm on Blood's side that by 2020 they'll probably be back in that mix because there'll be a new gen and
All right, so
we'll
I
have
need,
a lot of new projects.
I need to know where the panel
Horizon 2 is going to be at that. That's the big thing I'm waiting for. Whenever they announce PS5, it's like Horizon 2.
Horizon 2,
right
Final Fantasy 7 Remake, that Avengers game, like there's already that Harry Potter game, like there's already so many sick games that we're aware of that are coming, you know, like oof.
Spider-Man's getting a sequel. That's
Spider-Man's getting a
yeah.
sequel.
Oh
like,
yeah, but that's
2.
2022.
At least 2 sequels.
Like to me,
2020,
like
whatever.
the next gen consoles will just have the sickest launch, right? Like it's
Yeah.
just there won't be that problem that we had
Yeah,
with the
Xbox
PS4.
just gonna got
launch.
like Halo or something right off the bat.
It's just gonna come out. But I need to know where the panel stands on console releases.
Oh, like if it has
Like
to
time.
come out.
Yeah, when it's going to come out. When we're gonna
I
when
wouldn't
it'll
be
be
sur-
announced, when it's coming out. I want to know where you stand.
Wouldn't be surprised if it's early 2020, like Switch.
Yeah, that's kind of what makes the most sense.
Yeah.
I feel like we're getting there. We'll talk about it a little when we talk about the NPDs and like console sales and everything. I feel like you're getting as much as you can out of the PS4 right now. I'm still 2019. Even
Really?
after
I love
all
it.
this,
Wow.
I love it.
even after Jason Schreier doing everything he can to say Kyle give up hope for 2019, I'm still 2019.
I love it, Kyle.
Yeah,
Spring 2020, I think.
yeah.
Dreams doesn't even have a release date, man.
Yeah.
You know, like, and PSVR is doing really, really well. Like, I think we were just saying, like, Beat Saber just came out today, and it's
Yeah,
just
dude.
like
Oh,
there's like
okay. I
'cause
saw everyone
everyone-
tweeting about it. I was like, what's
it's just
happening?
nice because a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm just kind of waiting for that killer rap. Like, we're past it. We you know, it's
Astrobot.
It's
It's
Beat Saber,
Astrobot.
It's
Yeah,
Astrobot.
it's Astrobot.
It's Moss. It's like
Yeah.
it's Tetris Effect. Like they have
Sure,
like
dude, yeah.
there are these games that like they did it. It's
Super
great. There's
hot.
stuff that you can only
Super
super
hot.
hot.
Sure.
Even like Invisible Hours this year. Just I'm so glad that's on PSVR now. It's like stuff that like you are doing yourself a disservice to not play this in VR. So, I just think I think they're curious if they can just kind of coast, like kick back and just let the console do its thing.
It would be weird to me. Yeah, and so obviously, it's not like Sony's going to be under a rock for all of 2019. Oh, Blood, when do you think the console's coming out?
Yeah, I agree. I think early 2020 is.
So nobody
most
thinks
likely.
fall 2020.
I mean, I think fall's possible, but I think that to me, I don't know if this will be more likely or not, but to me, it makes more sense to be earlier in the year because they're gonna sell out no matter what. So why sell out and then like have all these people upset at Christmas?
Yeah, but that's what's worked. PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, GameCube, all those Xboxes, those are all fall releases, right?
Sure.
But then I guess Switch really turned that up, and like Switch has had a great first year. And so I'm with you, Blood. I don't think it matters anymore. I think you can totally launch in March and have a great console launch.
Yeah. I feel like that's with games too now. It's
Yeah.
more
Like,
so than ever.
What
Yes,
builds
dude.
more hype for Sony, a mild E3 or no E3? Like just the mystique. Whoa, they're not even
Yeah, they
at
want us
E3.
to start sweating it because you're right. We have too many answers right now. We know too many games and
Too
they're
many
all gonna be
games,
sick.
yeah.
We're not even nervous.
Pumped for them all.
Yes.
There's like great third-party games coming out too. You got Devil May
Yeah.
Cry, Kingdom Hearts 3, and
Monday
Sekiro
night's gonna be
coming
so
out.
weird.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like, well, see you tomorrow. I
Yeah,
guess,
right.
E3.
And it's kind of right. It's kind of like taking Assassin's Creed taking a year off.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing where maybe the longing creates more hype. Ian, did you have a guess? Do you think when do you think it's happening? PlayStation 5.
Yeah, just because in the past they've always done holiday, but the timing is weird because there are rumors now, and they're gonna want to. It's gonna depend on when Xbox 1, 2 comes out. Also, yeah, middle 2020 probably. Yeah, early
Cool.
to middle.
Yeah.
I also think like this is back a second, but like, to me, I think everybody's gonna do directs eventually, because like. It was the same thing when we were at Viacom and they would do like burger bashes every month, and I was just like, just pay us all more. Why are you wasting money on this?
Tell everyone what a burger bash is.
A burger bash is when they would get In-N-Out trucks to come into the parking lot and waste 3 hours of a day,
And we also couldn't park.
and you couldn't park there.
I think it was more than 3 hours too, because it was like the event runs for 3 hours, but everybody took the rest of the day off. It was
Right.
basically a half day with free
Such a
cheeseburgers.
funny analogy.
Because
Yes.
everyone gets wasted, and it's just like
because
it's
there's
like,
beer too.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, there's beer, and it's just like, why waste millions of dollars on a press conference when really the only reason to do a press conference is to have people there? The one that blows my mind is when Bethesda ran a video that was an hour long and had people just there to watch it, which is insane to me. It's like, why did you spend money on a giant stadium or whatever, a theater, to show people a movie? Just
I think
stream
they
it.
improved on that last year too.
Well, they
had
improved
a
on
lot
it
of
slightly.
extra stuff
Yeah.
around that we
Yeah,
couldn't
but
see.
like
Yeah.
that's like it's an advertisement.
Mm-hmm.
Spend 20 or 30 grand on a direct. I don't know the prices. I'm just spitballing. Instead of like 4 million or whatever on a. I mean, obviously I don't know the pricing, but like, it's just crazy to me. It's almost like it almost makes me like mad. I'm like, you're wasting your money. Stop being dumb.
well, like, part of it's being one of the gang with the prestige,
Right, but
one
I
of the
think
big
that's
boys.
that's dying. I think they're all mad at the ESA for being too expensive and for not working the way they want it to. And it's like they're already going to PAX, like they go to Gamescom, whatever, like various publishers.
Yeah.
And it's like E3 is outmoding itself kind of. It's like there are too many shows that are similar to it now, so they don't need to give it that prestige anymore. Yeah.
I want to go back to next console launches, because we had another sweet rumor that came out this week. Even a report. Maybe I shouldn't even call it a rumor. From Thurrott, who, when I say like Xbox Scarlet, that was the website that first had those rumors, and that's where that all comes from. They were reporting that in 2019 there will be a version of the Xbox One that does not include a disk drive.
Yeah,
A digital-only Xbox One in 2019.
I believe it.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds
believe it.
super feasible.
Yeah.
Really interesting part of that. This is straight from Thurrott. In addition to the new console, there will be a disc-to-digital program that, as the name states, turns your physical games into digital downloads. The idea is you take your disc to a participating retailer like the Microsoft Store and trade in your disc for a digital download.
That sounds
Hell
like a nightmare,
no,
dude. Going to the
no.
store with like a huge stack.
That's the end right there.
Yeah.
You trade in your physical games for digital codes.
Here's
like that's
your
it.
code.
We're all done at that point. Like we basically should all have disc-free consoles. I can't believe that, and obviously I can. Obviously I believe this will occur
getting
in
closer
2019.
to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny because I have what, 3 computers at my house, and none of them have disk drives
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, mine doesn't either.
Do you own Blu-rays? Do you own like TV shows and movies?
I do. I downsized a lot. I like threw away all the cases, put them in folders, and like only keep the nice ones or the weird rare ones.
Yeah, I kind of think like all physical media is just gonna get tired. I think we're just gonna get tired of it.
It should
look at
kind of. It's,
music,
it's
look at
bad
CDs,
for the
man.
earth.
Yep.
And this seems like a weird Xbox thing to do. They love doing weird stuff like that.
Well, I mean,
Just weird, unpredictable, consumer-focused,
Yes.
quality of life type stuff.
I do think right, because
And so it
obviously they
does
always
seem
want to present
like
the
to be
option.
in the wheelhouse. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's an adaptation of what their original vision for the Xbox One was.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds very similar to that when you talk about
Yeah.
participating real to like what the idea originally was, that like the disc would just sort of be a check-in, and then
Yep.
like once you put the disc
It would
in
download
once, yeah, then you wouldn't have to after that. So yeah, I mean, I still very much prefer to have the physical option. There are definitely games that I prefer to do, like, you know, even saying have like that fancy edition or just the physical version, even if it's not fancy, just to have on my shelf. And I know there are a lot of other people that would, you know, it makes it easier to preserve the games for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's getting weird. But I think that in terms of making a slimmer or cheaper version of the console, that totally makes sense.
Oh, it'll be much less expensive to produce.
Mm-hmm.
The article mentions that it'll probably be around $200. So
I'm just curious, are they going to beef up the hard drive space with that?
for sure, right? You'll
Yeah.
need more hard drive space.
You would have to.
It's got to be like 2 terabytes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the article mentioned hard drive space. I should have read more looking for that detail in particular. But yeah, it's gotta. I feel like it's gotta. But I mean, at $200, I don't think you're getting a huge hard drive.
Right.
I don't know if it's going to be
Probably
2
a
terabytes.
terabyte.
Yeah, it's probably
Yeah,
a terabyte.
terabyte. It's funny, like, it's Microsoft was just a gen early with all their stuff they wanted to do, and now probably the Xbox One 2 or whatever, Scarlet will just be all the crazy stuff they wanted the One to be, you know? And then all the stuff about streaming and basically just having like a Roku that you stick into a thing and play games off it because that's what they want because it's way cheaper for them. That'll be the third one, you know, next time.
Yeah.
It's just everything they need to plant the seeds of the crazy future ideas a gen early so that by the time we get to it, we're like, of course, this was genius. They thought of it a long time ago, you know?
Yeah, I mean, a mandatory Connect was part of their original vision too.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if we'll have online check-ins like they originally planned, but yeah. Obviously, you know,
People hate that.
this is the way that things are going. Clearly, I do think though the article states at next Xbox 2020 solidified.
Sure.
This kind of makes me believe that. It's interesting. I mean, 2013 was really cool. When January came out, we had no idea when the next Xbox or when the next PlayStation would be announced, but because of some things Sony had said earlier, we were all presuming Xbox would announce first. Basically, Sony's saying, like, we're not in a rush, we're not going to do something soon, and then just in February, just dropped it immediately. Hey,
Gotcha.
PlayStation 4 this year. I was like, what?
Yeah, dropped it.
And so I think, like, hey, like, there's precedent for it being wild and crazy and unexpected. But I mean, they clearly bounce off each other.
Oh, yeah.
Xbox will be looking at PlayStation. PlayStation will be looking at Xbox. Jason Schreier even mentioned that kind of thing happening in his article. Like,
So much of PlayStation strategy was just riffing on the stuff that Xbox got wrong. So
yes,
it's really a risk to go first.
yeah.
Yeah.
And what's also interesting that I like, this is something that developers are really good at, is just like, well, Xbox is giving us 8 gigabytes of RAM. You know what I mean? That kind of thing where like developers are like, well, the console would be a little nicer if it had a little more of this. And so it's that kind of thing where there are some powerful developers out there who are well aware of what the next Xbox and next PlayStation are having, and they communicate their desires with the people developing the consoles. And so, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't like the thing is. I don't think that leap is going to be difficult. I don't think it's like, here's your PS5 dev kits, here's your Xbox Scarlet dev kits, learn everything you can. All this is going to take months. It won't. Mm-hmm. I think with these two new consoles in particular, it may be a little, you know, I don't want to say
It'll be more streamlined than ever.
It will be more streamlined than ever, which is the
like
most
from
proper
3
thing
to
to say.
PS3 to 4. Huge, like,
Yeah.
so much easier.
PS2 to PS3 is like, what is
cell
this
processor.
thing? Come on, what? It's gonna take a year to learn this, and so it's not gonna be that anymore. And so yeah, I don't know. I don't think it'll be a crazy turnaround. I feel like you can announce and drop a console faster than ever.
And the stack of games I'm bringing into the store, it's just Xbox One games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we think there would maybe even be a limit on that? Like,
No,
what, they
dude.
might not
No,
consider
they
some
just,
games.
yeah, you're just trading your games in.
And what do they even do? I guess they'll sell them out of the store, but yeah, I think they also just want you to not have those games anymore. They want you to be like, they want to incentivize as much as possible you getting into
Right.
this discless ecosystem.
Get with the times.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you look at Games Pass too. Like
Yeah.
every
Huge.
first party game at launch, yeah, that's all part of the Xbox deal.
I mean, they all want to just be Netflix. They don't want us to own anything. They just want us to subscribe.
Subscriptions,
Yeah. Do you think what was the thing in the 50s or whenever, the gas wars, when like, is that what it was called, when gas stations would across the street from each other, like,
Oh, the prices, yeah.
price, and like there was some collusion, like they would say like, oh, let's all just raise our prices and then no one can whatever, and I think it's illegal or whatever. Do you think that Sony and Microsoft do that kind of stuff where they're like, look, if you come out over here, we can? Do you think they communicate with each other in that way? Like, is there?
I don't.
Highly doubtful.
Yeah,
I think it's mostly based off developer needs. I think developers say,
You're
look,
probably
we,
right,
we
yeah.
know you want, like, developers have wants that can't be met, and Sony has wants that can't be met. And I think consoles are born out of that negotiation, basically.
Yeah.
And so I think they kind of come to similar conclusions. Obviously, Xbox last generation said, like, they said it out loud, power is not the most important part of this console. They made a bad judgment there.
Pull a 180 on that.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I imagine they'll be very similar in this next generation. Like, my guess is Xbox will be most powerful again. I actually don't think that PlayStation will have the most powerful console at launch. But that's just blind guessing. I don't know. You like that? Sounds like it's podcast halftime.
The following are the official sponsors of Easy Allies for the month of November. Beaten Down Brian. Sweet Justice, a sound design company from the southern shores of the UK. They've worked on some of the biggest AAA titles, the most refreshing indie titles, and collaborated with the best development teams in the world. Mango. Will Schmuck, who wants to remind you to watch Box Peak and Tabletop Escapades. El Thanis. Hogue Law Business Law Firm. Whether you're starting a business at level 1, stuck fighting the dreaded fundraising boss, or finally cashing out with a well-earned high score, you need a good business lawyer at your side. Hogue Law brings more than a decade of experience forming and funding companies, negotiating contracts, and everything in between. At Hogue Law, it's always business law time. Check them out at hoeglaw.com or on Twitter at Hogue Law. Y2Kyle89. iKeyless. iKeyless.com is proud to sponsor Easy Allies. If you need a replacement car key or remote, use offer code EZA at checkout for free shipping and 30% off of your order. And our mega sponsor, what is Jigarbov Productions? I'd like to call us a small indie studio using Minecraft as the engine for making our own fully featured games, like this Battle Arena. It's fully customizable, features many game modes, and even a story to provide context to the world. Or this space adventure. You're stranded on an unknown planet with the task to create your ship to get back to your homeworld. You'll face off against the local life or dangerous aliens protecting the ship parts while exploring the unknown. How about a roguelike? Here you find yourself in a randomly generated dungeon doing puzzles, collecting equipment to upgrade your abilities, to improve traversal, and more, all the while discovering the secret of the dungeon and why you're here. Not your style? In Papercraft Adventure, we took inspiration from paper cutouts and smashed them into Minecraft. You're thrust into an hours-long journey to collect all the star stickers in imaginative worlds set in a giant classroom. If you're bored of the typical Minecraft play, check out Jigarbov Productions on the Minecraft Marketplace. You'll find a lot more than you expected. All of these links are available in the description. Thank you to our sponsors.
Thank you, sponsors.
Thank
I'm
you.
proud of Jigarbov.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because previously Jigarbov's like, Minecraft's stupid. I'm like, just make stupid Minecraft. Like, just to be proud of yourself. This is obviously a problem I have all the time of just nah, my stuff's stupid. Just don't even look at it. You know what I mean? And so just to be out there, just selling your stuff hard and making a case for it, I appreciate it. That's
And
cool.
seeing it. Delicious B-roll. Finally got to see a lot of that
If
stuff.
you're a listener, you're
Ooh.
missing some B-roll of that stuff.
Yeah. And we got slots open for December. So if you jump in by the end of the month, you can be a sponsor
Jones
next month.
will say anything you write. Well, not anything. Jones will support you.
Yes.
Yes.
You will negotiate with Jones what he will say.
Correct.
NPDs launched
Yay.
today. I love some fresh NPDs.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
I like it.
These are the October 2018 NPDs. These are the video game sales in the United States. What do you think is number one?
Red Dead.
Oh, yeah.
I hope so.
It's not.
Was it GTA?
No.
Call of Duty?
It's Call of Duty.
Wow.
Nice.
Killing it. Wait, it came out early in October?
It did. So
Okay.
Call of Duty came out October 12th. Red Dead came out October 26th.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So Call of Duty actually beat Red Dead. Obviously had that 2-week bonus. Pretty interesting though.
yeah, still killing it.
Still killing it. I have some interesting facts about both of those, so let's go into them. And again, please follow Matt Piscatella, who works for NPD. Twitter account's amazing, just tweets out really cool factoids all day long on NPD days. And also non-NPD days, when I kind of want to get into one other thing. Okay, so Call of Duty Black Ops 4 instantly became the best-selling game of the year. Boom!
Wow.
Instant.
Just,
Still
best-selling game of the
there.
year.
Still got it.
Yep.
And if you look at the past 12 months, is number 2 behind Call of Duty World War II.
Wow.
Call of Duty
Unbelievable, man.
sells like crazy.
Yep.
And I think it's so interesting if you look at the podcasts we've had this year when we first had to talk about Call of Duty not having a campaign,
Ugh, it's a huge blow to me.
right?
Yeah.
And to where we are today, where its battle royale mode is doing well. I think the battle royale mode is a big reason why it's still
of
competing
course,
like
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I think that did really well for it. The beta was exciting. People got into this new kind of battle royale, Call of Duty style of battle royale, I should say, as opposed to new kind. That's pretty crazy to me.
Yeah.
Immediately the best-selling game of the year. Far Cry 5, you had a lot of months. Sorry, bud. You know, it's just like, sorry, God of War. Sorry, Spider-Man. I'll take it from here.
Well,
See you never again on the top. Red Dead might topple it, right? Because Red Dead was only out for 9 days. But yeah, just like Call of Duty is still
nuts.
Call of Duty is what that means.
Still crushing it.
Yeah. 8th best launch of any game in history of NPD history. And
Wow.
I want to see the others.
Man.
others. But yeah, that's pretty crazy. I just feel like we're at that point of the generation. So yeah, we talk about like the announcements tapering off and things, but there's these final few years of a generation where everything sells like crazy.
right.
Everyone,
Yeah.
so many systems out there.
So many
And a lot of people
consoles,
are scared to hop into the next gen because it's like, well, the install base of last gen, you know, and just like it's going to be tough. Like there's always a transition. You have to do it to keep things going, to keep this cycle moving. You have to make that transition. But yeah, it was a crazy October just in terms of total sales for everybody. What do you think is number 3?
October? Mario Party?
Of October. It's a game that launched early October. I believe it showed up last month because of like early release stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
It's Assassin's Creed.
It's Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed blood. Assassin's Creed number 3. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is doing well
Yeah.
Nice.
for itself.
Yeah.
It's not a failure. It's not like disappointing. It's there. It's still selling. There you go.
Came out a good time.
Did it?
I think so. Before
Early
everything
October?
else. Yeah. Well, clearly it came out at a good time.
Clearly, it came out of a good
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's got enough muscle to
Yeah.
push its way through no matter where it is.
Next up, I heard it. Oh no, I didn't hear this one. NBA 2K19 was number 4.
Okay.
That game always sells well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Keep
sports
going,
games, dude.
Yeah. That game came out in September, and yeah, it's still showing up big on October. I heard Super Mario Party, and that's number 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Switch, baby.
That's
And
higher than I thought.
Yeah, and so remember that was also in last month's. We got a little bit of Super Mario Party because it was on October 5th, and I think last month went to October 6th. For instance, this one actually the counting starts on October 7th. So right, Super Mario Party was part of last month's NPDs, and so for it to be ranked there, and again, Nintendo games, no digital sales counted. So retail Super Mario Party number 6 on the top 10 of October.
Wow.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think it was 3rd best selling Mario Party game in that first month. And so obviously it'll have legs. It'll probably sell more. It's probably going to be the best selling Mario Party game of
Yeah,
all time.
probably. Yeah.
Or I don't know, maybe one of the Wii ones will still beat it. But yeah, it's among the best. Super Mario Party is just like, sorry, Super Mario Party 5. You know what I mean? It's just like, sorry, dudes. The Switch is so popular that these games are just all going to sell the best. It's pretty crazy. I wonder if you can guess number 6. This is another October release. And we were a little worried about it.
October. Worried about it.
Yep. It's a game Ian's really good at.
What?
We had a tournament that.
Soul
Soul
Calibur?
Calibur?
Yes. Soul Calibur 6, number 6.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Pretty cool. 3rd best launch for a Soul Calibur game, which makes me think I got the Mario Party fact wrong. But yeah, Soul Calibur 6, number 6.
All right. How fitting.
How
Good.
fitting. It's pretty good. It's hard to say, right?
What
Like
their expectations
when
were.
you're in between these games, obviously you're not going to be number 1 or number 2 when like Red Dead and Call of Duty are up there. So yeah, it's hard to say if that was enough. It's because
But I mean, for a fighting game when the series hasn't been around for a while, I think it's really good.
I guess what was scary, Blood, is Bandai Namco said if this game doesn't sell well, franchise is over.
Oh, really? They
Yeah.
just came out and said that?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that's well enough.
Yeah, me too, exactly.
I think it should be.
I feel like that's with every fighting game franchise now.
kind
I
of
just
is,
feel
man.
like that every time.
Yeah, they're all on the line, it
Yeah.
feels like, except for Smash Bros.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does well every time.
It does. It's, best ever. Number 7, FIFA 19. Hanging in there.
Sports.
Yeah, Sparks. Number 8, pretty big drop for a big September release.
Spider-Man?
Yep, Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
Number 8 is so it launched September 7th, so obviously it did really well in September.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then in October we're at number 8. Madden, number 9. Number 10, WWE.
Oh, okay.
And that was a weird one because we had the Woo edition accounted for
yeah.
like last time, and I think the Woo edition did better than 10, didn't it? Or is this back-to-back
know.
10s? Man, I should have brought up last month's. Number 11, another huge October release that was actually accounted in September because it came out early October.
Forza?
Yes. Nice, Blood. Yep. Forza Horizon 4 is number 11. So yeah, it was clearly like split right in the middle of sales, right? It's tough to be at the beginning or end of a month in NPD rankings. Number 12 is a new October release that I don't know if anyone can guess. It's like this is a big game, you know what I mean? Probably has a pretty big budget. The publisher cares about this game. Storied franchise. These games come out sometimes twice a year, but definitely there's one game a year. No.
Just Dance.
Fallout? No, not twice a year.
No, we'll get to
Yeah. WWE 2K19, is that what you're talking about? Was 12th last.
Okay, so it moved up a little bit.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ian.
MotoGP.
Great guess, but no. Lego DC Villains. Lego DC Super Villains.
There you go.
Number 12. I almost thought it'd be higher than that.
Oof, in this fall though, I don't know.
It's just like there aren't a lot of other, I guess, family options, you know, Jones?
Sure.
Counter programming, but
Yeah.
I wonder if that even exists anymore.
Dude.
I feel like 9-year-olds are playing Fortnite just like adults are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, it's Spider-Man.
Yeah, they're
I'm
playing
seeing
Spider-Man.
lots
Yeah,
of
you're right,
kids
Jones.
playing
Yeah.
Spider-Man, and I'm
Living
sure
it
that's
up.
going to keep
You're
them
right.
busy for a while.
Play a superhero game. It's like Lego DC Supervillains or Spider-Man. Like that, you're insane to pick the DC Supervillains. Maybe eventually, but yeah, you're right. Those are if you're playing a superhero game. Speaking of superhero games, I don't know if anyone can guess number 13. It is a superhero game.
Prototype. It's back.
Prototype's back. It's number 13.
Excited. I'm ready.
My Hero 1's Justice.
No way! Really?
Yes. Came
Wow.
out same day as Red Dead Redemption 2. Had a tough thing. And so, honestly, I think that's pretty good for that game.
Yeah, I do too.
That one I did not think had a huge budget. And so I think, hey, if you're showing
Yeah.
up there,
Nice job.
anime games sell.
Sometimes.
Dude, all the time. That's what I'm learning from NPDs. Since we've started doing NPDs as a regular segment on the podcast.
Die hard fan base.
Yeah. If it's an anime game, it's going to sell. One Piece is going to sell. I think whenever that One Piece game comes out, the open world One Piece game, I'm going to say top 20. I'll lock that in right now.
I hope it's cool.
Yeah.
I wonder if One Piece, like, it came out up against one of the biggest games of the year, right? I wonder if that just has such a built-in audience that it would have sold the exact same number no matter when it came out. Like, everyone who's gonna buy that bought it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and even the people who, like, they love My Hero Academia and they love Red Dead, they're buying both.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
They saved up.
I get that. Number 14 was a September release, hanging in there. Recently, its publisher said, "Hey, we're not making a lot of money. We gotta reallocate some things." This is, I'd say, a top 10 video game franchise that had a new release this year, new sequel.
Can't think of anything.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider?
Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Yep, is number
no.
14.
I was wondering about that.
Sorry, were you worried about that? Is what
I
you
was
said?
wondering.
Oh, when it was
I
going to
kept
pop in?
trying to offer that as a title, and it didn't seem to fit anything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I
So
forgot
Shadow of
about
the
it.
Tomb Raider, yeah, it's synced to 14, which isn't like, I don't know.
So they're concerned about it again.
They're definitely
They were the last one too.
I think that franchise is about to take a little
I
sleep.
think all three they were actually.
Yeah, that's about to take
Well,
a
I
nap.
think the first one they turned around on.
They did.
Yeah.
They were initially disappointed, but then it sold. It kept selling.
Yeah.
The PC version came out. Yeah, eventually that one did really well.
And didn't they do like more than one remaster or re-release?
They did like the
one?
definitive edition
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Well,
on
they
Xbox, PS4.
Well, before this set, yeah, they did some kind of
The fancy hair version.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I think it's about to take a nap. I don't think Lara Croft will take a nap. I mean, like, you know, the Lara Croft Go, or is it Tomb Raider Go or Lara Croft
They
Go?
did Lara Croft Go.
Okay.
And I think they did a sequel to that as well. And then they did the
2-player co-op game.
co-op
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
And so
whatever.
I bet we'll see more Lara Croft games, you know? But I
Maybe.
expect like a big AAA budget Tomb Raider game is going to fall because we got to make that
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy game,
I'm
right?
just trying to figure out what they're gonna do to really make that franchise pop, because I feel like it's pretty well designed. Like, they've got great visuals and everything going on there, but the story's not doing it. Mm-hmm. And there just doesn't seem to be anything that distinguishes one game from the next all that well.
Yeah. They need dinosaurs. It's
Yeah.
so
Yes!
simple. It's so simple, dude.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
simple. It's like I don't know, man.
It's like they're trying to be too grounded.
Yes.
It's part of the problem in a
Right.
way.
It
Yeah.
seems like they're trying to emulate 4 other games. They're trying to be Uncharted Horizon or something.
Yeah, and it's just like
They just need to be themselves.
like playing
Weird.
through Red Dead, sometimes I'm just like, I'm pleased when it's willing to be a video game. It's like, thank you. You know what I mean? Like people call it like a sim game. It's like, I don't know. Thank you for just showing me where that is. Thank you for just like not having to like unbutton your shirt or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, thank you for making something simple. Thank you for being a video game in many elements. Like, Tomb Raider could be goofy. It could totally be goofy
Right.
and be a success.
Oh, some of those
I
combat
also
encounters are
need to
goofy.
stop picking up feathers and hides and like that stuff is not doing it for me in a Tomb Raider game.
It's weird because it works so well in Horizon. You're into, I think, harvesting in
Sure.
Horizon.
Well, it's because Horizon, you're in a huge open world. Tomb Raider, like, not as much.
Yeah.
You're like in spaces. You go from space to space kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd rather see a Tomb Raider that was more like the old one, and then had like a more exploratory layout, kind of like a Metroidvania, like Dark Souls-y kind of thing, where the world is interconnected and you can explore, but you're not crafting or leveling up, but it's more about like exploration and like world and
I mean, the
Metroidvania
game is like,
abilities.
connected,
Yeah,
but I see what you're saying.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because I think that's the thing is just a lot of that extra gear and costumes and all of that. It just doesn't. It just feels like it's weighing the game down. Where it's like if you just
Yeah,
had these
right,
spaces
right,
to
right,
explore, then it would be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like some of the crafting, like the gear, like doesn't really matter.
Yeah,
the
all these
bonuses, like,
guns
it
and
doesn't
things.
matter.
Like I don't care
Doesn't
about this
matter.
gun. I don't care about improving this bow's, draw speed.
Yeah, and even the skill tree wasn't that fun. But I mean, hey, we're ragging on a game. that kept-
Dinosaurs, man. That's
yeah,
it.
Just had the dinos. Number 15,
Totally right.
Mario Kart 8, hanging in
Still
there.
going. I was going to ask
Goodness.
you, where is that?
Yeah, there's Mario
Man.
Kart. The other where is that is number 16. That's Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yep.
Hanging in there.
Took a dip though.
Crushing
Took
it.
a dip. Took a little dip. Number 17, Super Mario Odyssey.
Yay.
18, Diablo 3.
What?
Whoa!
Must have
Switch
been
version.
Oh,
That's
you're
the
right. You're
Switch.
right.
Yep.
Nice.
I
That-
bet.
Yeah.
That right there is the power of the Switch.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we're
Playing
saying.
a ton
Yeah.
of that, yeah.
Number 19, this is a Nintendo block, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And number 20, NHL 19, sports games.
Sports. Still going.
That was super fun. There were a couple other like facts he pulled out that I think are really interesting.
NPDs are so funny because it really is just like the mainstays are sports, feel good Nintendo stuff, and GTA 5.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
Like if you and Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like figure out how to combine those 4 things into one.
Well, I don't know. I was so encouraged last year how well at the end of the year Mario and Zelda ended up doing.
Yeah.
Because they don't do that well typically.
Yeah.
When like Sly Cooper made it on like an MPD when it came out, the PS3 version, I was so pumped,
That's
dude.
funny,
I was
Brad.
like, yes, dude, people care about it. Never came back.
Nah, I'm sorry, Sly.
Dead.
All right, so October 2018 unit sales of PlayStation 4 reached the highest mark of any PlayStation hardware platform in an October month since the
Wow.
PlayStation 2 in October 2002.
Wow.
crazy.
Whoa.
It's been 16 years.
Just selling.
So that's we're talking unit sales there. PlayStation 4 hardware unit sales achieved an all-time October high for the platform, while PS4 dollar sales reached its highest point for an October month since October 2014. And that's where I want to talk about this for a sec, panel.
Pros.
Pros.
What? Oh, PS4 Pros?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're making less dollar sales.
Oh, they're making less.
In 2014, it's like, hey, it's we're doing the best since 2014. It's like, hey, that was just 4 months ago or 4 years ago. You know what I mean? It's close to the launch of the PS4, obviously, just a year after. And so, even though the unit sales are highest since 2002, dollar sales highest since 2014.
Well, because there's a lot cheaper ones, probably.
Yeah, PS4 is getting cheaper and cheaper.
There's
They're-
like the base models or whatever, the slim ones.
yeah, they got this Black Friday deal for $200.
Yeah. It's like with Spider-Man, right, or something?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They're going to do great. It's going to sell great.
Yeah.
They have to keep the price on the PS4 going down. I don't know, man. I like it's time for PS5.
I know. I'm ready. I was ready 2 years ago. Let's go.
That's the crazy thing. I think you look at this a lot and you're like, hey, it's selling record numbers. Like, why would they trash the PS4 now? What's up?
Oh, because you said this was the biggest October PlayStation's ever had since 2002.
Yeah.
October. So I got curious and I went back and I looked what came out in October of 2002.
Oh, this is some good fact checking. What do you got, Ian?
So the whole first half of the month is kind of whatever. There's like some Shrek games, X-Men Next Dimension, Lord of the Rings stuff, and I'm kind of just like, what?
Yeah.
what is this? Blah, blah, blah. Guess what came out on October 27th, 2002 on the PS2?
It has to.
God of War.
What?
God of War.
GTA 3.
Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
a GTA game.
Yes.
And then,
Yep.
Doom
Hot
2,
cakes.
Hot
or not
cakes.
Doom 2, but yeah, some other stuff. So it's a lot of licensed stuff, and like, then
Yeah, God of
game,
War was way
ga-
later.
game
okay.
trailers.
yeah, you know, Vice
Or
City
Grand
is a
Theft Auto,
huge
I mean.
turnaround for that franchise.
Oh, sorry, God of War was 2005.
Obviously, you would say GTA 3 is, the biggest shift, but I think Vice City is like the biggest
Just
solidification.
juggernaut.
Yes.
Like this is the
This
big,
is the
huge
one. Yeah.
deal. Now,
Would you agree with that, Johns?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You
like
could
that
see
Vice
how
City
that-
changed
think-
everything, I feel like.
I still feel 3 is the huge.
But I think a lot of, as far as like, especially the first month sales, like I remember when I first heard you like how much I love that franchise and I love that company. When I first heard of GTA 3, I was like, what are you explaining to me right now? I don't understand this. What
Yeah.
weirdo game are you talking about? And so by the time, like we all played 3 and then like, month after month after month, everyone was like, this is incredible. I can't stop playing this game. So everyone was on board for Vice City by the time that happened. No one was surprised by Vice City.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they speaking protagonist, that was like actors we all knew, and they've since
That was
stepped
a
away
quick
from that. But
turnaround.
They definitely have.
What year was 3? Had to be 2001, right?
I'm checking now.
Yeah, and then I think San Andreas was a year after that.
Yeah, 3 came out.
Yeah.
Release date was October 22nd, 2001 for Grand Theft Auto 3. So a year.
And then when is San Andreas?
Let me check.
Like, they did pump those out so
oh
fast.
my god, yeah.
I can't imagine what that year was like.
Mm-hmm.
Just like from concept to development to just like the voice acting to the music.
San Andreas was October 26th, 2004. Wow, they all come out
Still,
in
though.
October.
Yeah.
Weird.
San Andreas.
we get like a
lot
Rockstar
of
game a
years.
gen now,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's
I'm
like,
glad there was at least 2 years there.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That is it's to me it's just a truly interesting thing. It's just like I realize they're actually making more money because obviously it becomes cheaper and cheaper to develop the consoles, and so $100 in 2014 bucks is not $100 in 2018 bucks. I do get that. I don't know. Just thought that interesting. About the difference between unit sales and dollar sales can be pretty huge. Matt Piscatella tweeted this like earlier in the week. I just thought it was interesting. The NPD group reports that the PS4 DualShock 4 wireless controller Black is the best-selling gamepad in U.S. history dollar sales.
Crazy.
Whoa.
$60.
And I have a theory on this. Yeah, it's $60. It's an expensive controller. It's also hard to duplicate. I think a lot of us throughout our entire lives bought some
The cheaper versions.
shady, cheaper
I had
versions
some
of controllers.
Shady and 64 controller.
I avoided them like the plague, from the early days.
Wisely, right? But like a lot of our parents are hard to convince. So
Like,
just
oh, this one's $20.
it's the same thing. It's
Just
got
get
the same
it.
buttons. Yeah. And so I think it's it's everyone just wants the Sony one. I don't know if there is a Mad Catz version of the PS4 controller.
There seems to be a lot more for the Switch. But I don't think there's
third-party
as
stuff?
many
Yeah.
third-party ones for the PS4.
Yeah.
At least they're not presented as well.
I got
Yeah.
a third-party one, dude, for Switch.
Really?
With the D-pad
Does
on
it do HD Rumble? Oh, it doesn't do HD Rumble.
You're
But
right.
you don't care.
Yeah, I don't
that
care.
Ori one. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Want that D-pad.
Yeah. And so I think that's kind of interesting because also there's less incentive to buy new controllers than ever.
Oh, yeah.
There's fewer split screen games, and so I don't know. I don't know who's buying these, snatching up these controllers,
Yeah.
making them so popular.
That was the
People-
thing for me, like right away with the GameCube and the Wii, like day one, like 4 controllers, like everything, like
Yeah.
4 controllers, 4 nunchucks, like the whole package of everything I could get. I think even like made sure I had a classic controller at launch. Like I went all in on that.
Oh yeah, man.
And yeah, I think Xbox. I didn't get another Xbox One. Oh yeah, the original Xbox. I got all 4 controllers.
Right.
Too,
Yeah,
for
that's
Halo.
great split screen
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
Yes.
But then Xbox One. I didn't get a new controller until I got that Easy A one with the Design Lab
And
or
that's some
whatever.
revenue too. That's like an $80 controller, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder, part of me wonders, because the reason I buy additional controllers usually is with the built-in battery ones is just so I can have one charging while I'm playing the
Sure.
other one.
Sure.
So like,
I absolutely do the exact same thing.
right.
Ian.
So like the motivation for buying controllers back in the day was I need to play couch co-op. Now it's I need to have at least 2 so I can always play.
This is
Right.
so sad.
Yeah.
Because they have no incentive to have a good battery next generation. No
Yeah,
incentive.
kinda.
They're going to do the same
Well,
dumb
like,
mistake.
Hubert buys one because he wants a fresh controller for a certain game.
Oh man, I guess I can relate. I
He
get
does.
it.
He does do
I
that.
get it,
does do
Hubert.
that, yeah.
I totally get it.
Like, I get it, yeah.
But it is interesting that Sony never followed Microsoft's lead with those custom controllers,
Yeah.
which are so pretty and awesome. And I never spent money on them, but like I was always jelly when you got yours.
I kind of expected them to. Yeah, that's
They're
weird.
a
that
lot
they
of
didn't.
money, dude.
Yeah.
Even
Not
not going
get another one.
yeah, even not going as hardcore as they did, where you can like write names on it, and you can have weird color combinations, even if they just had like a rainbow of different colors available on Sony's website.
Yeah, and you know what? Another thing is, this is just the black version too. They've stuck with it throughout the entire generation. Xbox did have an iteration of the Xbox One controller throughout this generation. And so, yeah, I guess it really has just stayed the same. They easily could have had one with a smaller light bar or something, but they really just committed to that controller for this entire generation.
Well,
I think it helped
actually,
out as well.
what's weird about that statistic, PlayStation did change the design of that controller.
What do you mean?
Like a couple of years ago, they added the thing
Oh,
where you
yeah.
could see the
Yeah,
light
yeah,
through
yeah.
the touchpad.
Oh, right. So,
Yeah.
you could see it actually.
And the grips are different.
Yeah,
You're so right. And they use a different material for the grips. They absolutely had a second iteration.
yeah. So
I wonder
they
if that
apparently
counts
just
as the same
combined
product.
those
Because it's still called the PS4 DualShock 4 Wireless Controller Black.
Yeah.
I bet that's the same dumb title for both of those
Yeah,
controllers.
absolutely.
Thank you for correcting me. I totally forgot that there was an original version with weak little thumb pad plastic.
I wonder if that's the secret to like smashing sales charts is just don't change the name of the new version.
Yes. Right.
Well, because it is a complete replacement.
Right.
Like once
a
those
version
old ones are
number.
sold, they're not gonna
Right.
have
Right.
any more of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny. Okay. That makes a lot more sense now. It's now time for love and respect.
Love and respect.
Okay, we got time for one.
You get an
Alright.
extra note at the end. What just happened?
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Yeah, I asked Rufus to like mix it up a little bit.
Just zazz it up, Rufus.
Hey, can you jazz it up this week, Roof?
Improv.
Let's go with the spiciest. I like some spicy
Okay,
language every once in a while. Okay, here we go. Do television commercials for obscure video games have any meaningful impact on sales? Case in point, I'm watching Monday Night Football, and I just saw a commercial for an Xbox One game called Ark something. I own an Xbox and listen to this podcast weekly, and I could not be bothered to even Google what that game is. These commercials can't be effective. If so, why do companies spend millions of dollars on a commercial like that? Am I missing something? Love and respect, Josh Sucks 223.
Great name.
So this is not Josh we're talking to.
Josh Sucks 223.
If they're talking about Ark Survival Evolved, that's
Probably, yeah.
one of those
Yeah.
games that it's
Insanely
like
popular.
yeah, it's like the mobile game commercials where you're like, who's playing this? I'm like, lots and lots
World of Tank
people.
style, dude.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they want to cast the widest net possible. Like
Yeah.
we'll take players from anywhere, any age.
Yeah.
Well,
who
the
might
funny
be into
is,
something like
the
this.
commercial's kind of what Blood's talking about, like budget-wise, like class-wise, classiness, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's a woman, it looks like a model wearing Tomb Raider shorts, running around. She's got a dinosaur buddy, and then she summons another dinosaur buddy because an even bigger dinosaur mutant just shows up. That's the whole commercial.
Right.
That's
Ark
it.
Extinction,
That's-
I think, is for the expansion, by the
Oh,
way.
sure. But just World of Tanks is a great example because World of Tanks, we've got all the tanks. Ark Survival Evolved. Hey, come capture dinosaurs. Like that's it. That's all it needs is to have a bunch of dinosaurs and stuff in it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to run super well or anything. People are just in.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, because that is the sell. I think about that sometimes, Blood, is that like if Ark comes in and just like let us show you the mechanics. Let us show you what it'll actually take to summon a giant dinosaur creature. You're right, that's the wrong sell. Monday Night Football, just have a woman, have a little TNA, have some dinos, you're gonna make millions. Like I think that that commercial is probably the one that is optimized, right?
Yeah.
For money.
And it's coming out Switch soon.
Is it? Oh, it
Yeah.
totally is. Ark is coming to Switch, yeah.
It's funny back to game trailers because like in the early days when we were not doing a lot of content creation, we're just aggregating all that stuff. I had a TiVo, and I would just watch like a bunch of stuff. I would watch football, or I would just have it record all of these like big sports shows, or even sometimes we would know in advance like a big TV spot's gonna hit, and I would grab that and bring it into work the next day, like the actual machine, like in a backpack, and then just like hook it up to
And then upload that to the website?
DV cam, yeah, and then
And that's how
capture
game
it.
trailers worked?
I mean, that's how that's how we grab TV spots.
That's
like,
crazy,
We'd
dude,
grab
yes.
trailers from all over the place. People would
Yeah.
send us trailers, but specifically, like nobody would ever send us those TV spots.
Yeah.
And some of them were like different versions of trailers, like a cut down, or like they might be like one new shot or something. And a lot of them were completely different. And like a case in point, I remember like one of the oldest commercials I can remember is the mascot Smash Brothers, where they're all in a park, just actually like hitting each other.
Imagine
And
me.
falling
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
Like, so you would get like a live action thing or something really fun and creative. And I can't remember who said it to me, but I remember like the day that somebody came up and they're like, yeah, we can't post those anymore because they're not for the internet. Like we don't have the right to, they weren't given to us.
That's
These
interesting.
commercials are created just for television. They're a whole different thing.
It was funny.
So
Go
it's
ahead.
interesting. So I just imagine like you have a marketing team that's really closely integrated with social media, and they're answering questions from fans, and like I imagine they're very close to the team. They're creating trailers that like the obviously development team is very close to like very documentary style trailers.
We've
which
seen good ARC trailers.
You're seeing,
Yeah.
you get like kind of behind the scenes on like or like Fortnite updates, where it's just
Yeah.
like here's new content stuff. Like you're never gonna see that kind of stuff on TV.
Yeah.
I almost imagine like they like create a document and then give that to just some advertising company, and this
Yeah.
completely different advertising company who has never played the game ever
Yeah.
comes up with this whole brainchild of a way to sell it to anybody. You know, and so I think what you're seeing a lot of times on the TV, like you were saying with these games, they're so easy to sell and have such a simple setup that they're trying to create a product that will appeal to anybody. You don't have to know what console this is on. You don't have to have been familiar with the franchise. You literally just see dinosaurs or, Minecraft or Fortnite or whatever. Like, does Fortnite have TV commercials? Does it need it?
No, it
So
doesn't.
it's-
It doesn't because they're doing Fortnite dances as celebrations of
They
touchdowns.
definitely
you know?
have presence in Switch commercials. Switch commercials have Fortnite in them right now.
Oh, true. You know what?
Or
Well, yeah, nice.
sports. I mean, we just did it right now with the NPDs. We're just like, and FIFA. We're like, okay, cool, next. And like,
Yeah.
and that's not because like we think fans are bad or franchise is bad. We just have no reference on it. We do not play those games, and so like that's TV spots. Like, are those games that like you might not have heard of, but it can exist without shoving themselves in your face.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Like kind of where we are at is we're chasing these big, huge projects that are super exciting, really pushing a lot of these genres forward. And then you'll have fun stuff like Overcooked or weird things pop up, or Beat Saber that like we want to let people know about. Otherwise, you're not going to know about it. And then like in the middle, or even sometimes just overshadowing all of that, is Minecraft. Is these huge games.
Like World of Tanks, these online
World of
games
Tanks,
that have 10 million users and stuff like that we're just not even aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or aware of, but not aware of their marketing, not aware of how they're changing the their speak, their like sales speak.
Yeah, I think it's I obviously you don't want your game to look cheesy, and it is a cheesy commercial. But like, let's say like Oprah Dean wants to do a Super Bowl commercial. They want to be on Monday Night Football. It's not gonna work. And so there are, I think, certain games that this thing is still appealing to, still works. The dumb commercial still appeals to a wide enough audience, as Bloodworth calls it. Yeah.
What's really interesting, Ian, was The Missing. You were talking about that, and that game came out of nowhere, and like, you just kept talking about it, and I was like, okay. And I just recently had we had a big shoot planned this week that we rescheduled, and so I had like a whole day, and I was like, oh, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy a couple games. I'm like crack open
Nice,
the
Jones.
Switch library, and I ended up buying Pokemon. And but I was
Missing.
like going through, and I saw The Missing, and I was like, oh yeah, that's that game Ian was talking about. And I looked at the thumbnail, and I was like, boy, I'd skip that. I would go right past it. I wouldn't think of anything of it.
Based off the
And I
thumbnail,
was like, but
absolutely.
I'm really curious what this game looks like, because Ian was explaining it.
Yeah.
And I went through the screenshots, and I was like, oof, I would still skip this. And I like read the description, and I was like, I would totally skip this. And like it would.
Jones, even I was gonna
Right?
skip it.
It's-
The only
Yeah.
like I saw someone on Twitter that I liked talking about it, and they showed the first screen of the game just says like, this game is built with the philosophy that no one is wrong for being who they are, or something like that. And someone I follow on Twitter tweeted that picture and just said like, thank you, The Missing. And I was like, okay, what? Like, that is incongruous with everything I saw in the Switch store, because I did the same thing. I looked at it and I was like, I'm not playing this.
It looks like a scary game.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and it just looks kind of like cheap and like
Yeah.
bad. And then I looked into it and I was like, wait, Swery65 made this? Like, what? And then I talked to Ben or something, and he was like, "Oh yeah, it's cool. You would love it." And that, so yeah, like the advertising for that game, not good. It's like the show Patriot.
But
No
how
one
do you
will watch it.
but how do you sell it? Like how
Right.
how do you find the audience and communicate to them what they need to know? Yeah, fascinating.
Fascinating. I love obviously talking about video game marketing, especially if you got a spicy opinion. It's now time for Or Wars. Where you been hiding out lately, honey? All you need to look's and a whole lot of money. It's the next phase, new wave, dance craze. Anyways, it's still rock and roll to me.
Or Wars.
Got too into the song. I forgot I had to interrupt it with Or Wars at some point.
Yeah, stop the rock and roll is when you went too far.
Yeah. It's like, I'm having a good time. Billy, stop me. Billy, stop.
But dude, I must have heard that song 5 million times. There's no way I could get the chorus right.
What do you mean?
I can't even say them now. You just said it. But you're
Next
just like,
phase, new wave, dance
Yeah.
craze. Anyways, just still rocking. It's such a good song.
it's a great
dude.
song. I mean, yeah, Billy Joel's catchy guy. But it never stuck in my brain the order of those words.
Sure.
Kudos.
Who wants in?
I want in.
Okay. Brad. We're about to talk about Jump Stars. No, what's it called? Jump
Force.
Jump Force, yeah.
Jump Force. Rurouni Kenshin or Piccolo? Both announced this week.
Ooh, Kyle, that's a tough choice.
Yeah.
I like Kenshin. I think he's sick. But I gotta go with my boy Piccolo, Kyle, because he's green, he's from Planet Namek, he knows Dragon Balls, dude. He absorbs Kami, and he can stretch his arms. And he's a true bro taking those hits for Gohan. Multiple times, baby. Every movie, dude, he shows up, looks badass. Gets his ass kicked every time. But he never gives up.
Wow. It's a tough act to follow.
Brad came to play. Who
Yeah.
wants in next?
Yo, you saying Piccolo?
Yeah.
I'm in.
I'll go.
Okay, Johns. Okay, Johns.
All right.
Nintendo suing owners of ROM sites for $12 million, or Take-Two forcing trusted reviews to donate £1 million to charity for leaking a Red Dead story.
Ooh. Leaking the Red Dead story.
Why?
Because I don't like leaks. I want anything we can do to lessen the leaks.
So you're on the side of Rockstar in this
I
game?
didn't say I'm on the
my
side of anybody.
You're on the
What-
side of Take-Two, and you say, yeah, sue those people for doing a story for leaking that document.
Nah, man, I'm on pure amusement right now. I'm just amused by both of these stories, and I'm more amused by that one.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's good business practice.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm not saying,
Or Wars is tough. It's the word Wars is in there for a reason.
I love how the Lord of Spoiling Things hates leaks.
yeah.
Oh boy.
Hold on.
Who's in next? Who's in next?
I'm next.
Okay. Wreckfest developer Bugbear or Goat Simulator developer Coffee Stain? THQ picked up both those studios this week. This is designed for you, Blood.
I was very clear that was, yeah. I think I want to go with Bugbear because I feel they've got a longer track record. They have a very specific niche that they're into. With Coffee Stain, there's a Goat Simulator, but then I'm not as familiar with what
A bunch
else
of
they've
Goat
done.
Simulator expansions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's more long-term potential with what you could do with Bugbear.
Great. Ian,
Put me in, Kyle.
last one. Eating turkey with gross chunky gravy or making a movie with Johnny Depp?
I'm gonna have to say eating turkey with gross chunky gravy because it never beat its girlfriend.
Yikes.
Ian, great response, but I got to go with Brad, who just brought nonstop
Yeah.
fire this week.
Yeah.
Brad, you win Or Wars.
Yay.
For now, I have to talk about patreon.com/easyallies. Cool website to visit if you're interested in supporting the Easy Allies. If you listen or watch this podcast, of interest to you might be $5 patrons of Easy Allies get this podcast 2 days early. Viewable, listenable on Wednesday as opposed to Friday. Those people also submit to Love and Respect and Recruit Me. We must now see if Yippee survives.
I also totally missed that 2K story. That's the first time I ever heard of that.
Oh, yeah, I'd heard of it.
Wow.
Johns.
I gotta go
Man,
read up
and-
on that.
And you're like, yeah, dude, that website had it coming. Man.
He said it's pure amusement.
Did I say that website had it coming?
That's what I heard.
That's
That's
with
what
the
I heard,
words
dude.
that I picked.
That's why you did not win Or Wars.
Wow.
Yeah, as a funny headline, that one's way worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Anime
so
characters versus news headlines I just heard about. Like, come on.
that's how Or Wars goes.
You gotta go first,
You
baby.
gotta hop in first.
That's right. I would have
yeah.
gone Piccolo if I'd gone first.
Yeah.
Oh.
I do it. I
Well,
do it in
my-
order. I do it in order.
My
yeah.
response would have horrible to that as well. So.
Yeah.
I think last week I got something that I'd like never heard of or something. I don't remember what it was.
Oh, it was Perfect Dark or Banjo-Kazooie 3.
yeah, I'd never played either.
Yeah.
I
It's just
played
that's the
Perfect
nature of Or Wars.
I'm the king of spoiling things.
Oh, I forgot to conclude it. Where have you been hiding out lately, honey? All you need a looks and a whole lot of money. It's the next phase, new wave, dance quest. Anyways, it's still rock and roll.
Do we do it at the end too?
Yeah. Trying to figure out the rules.
Both times.
Just want to sing that song.
Also, no shade, Jones. No shade.
I know. I'm just excited to talk about stuff, you know?
Oh, so Jones, that story was basically they didn't want to sue. They were just like, well, you got to give that £1 million to charity. You know what I mean? So we're like, we're still good guys. It's like you're not quite good.
No,
guys.
that's
Yeah.
super creepy.
Yeah.
Creepy.
Imagine if somebody made us pay a £1 million to a charity. We'd be done.
We would actually just disappear.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't have any money.
So that's why we don't send
That's
us
why
stuff.
you
We're
gotta
never we're not gonna leak a thing. Don't
Gotta
send
go with
us
anime.
things.
Just stick with anime.
Just stick with anime. Oh, Yippee! We got to see if Yippee survived.
I
Yeah.
know.
So everybody gets a 10% increase in November, so we have a 30% chance of Yippee
What?
surviving.
Really?
Yeah, I got to get generous. We had too many deaths in a row, Brad.
It's a rough world.
Last 2 episodes, we have 2 new party members.
Okay.
So this is our first enemy survival roll in a while. So this is a 30% chance of survival.
Okay.
Here we go.
This is not
Please
the one
die.
I want.
Please die.
We're gonna see
Not a
if
nemesis.
Yippee.
I want-
Die, Yippee.
And just to remember, this happened a long time ago. Yippee is the elf, Santa's best combat elf, who fled the North Pole, came to us as a refugee, and we said, no, Yippee.
Keep fleeing.
Beat it,
Keep
Yippee.
fleeing.
All right. Yippee died.
Stay dead, Yippee.
Apparently they are very happy.
Woo! Now I don't gotta worry about Yippee or Santa coming around.
Oh God.
The tale of Yippee.
You like
Dude,
freezing to
feels
death
good.
at our door. Please,
Yippee
please.
died.
You know, if we ever get back to Reindeer Academy, Yippie's in there
Yeah.
for sure.
Man.
Yippie's
Yippie's
guaranteed.
corpse.
And that roll, Yippee was
Dead.
eviscerated.
Yeah, that's an insta kill.
Yeah, that was an insta-kill.
Santa found him.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Santa found Yippee.
Yippie's head is on our doorstep.
Okay, all right.
All right. Brad, you've won the right and responsibility to share your Twitter handle with the world. You get to promote
cool.
any Easy Eyes video would you like to promote. You get the final word on anything you've disagreed with, want to reiterate, or just popped into your head. And you get to sign off with your trademark sign-off.
Cool. You could follow me at Bradley Ellis 87. What's the next part? Oh, I want to promote the episode 5 of Box Peak. It's the end of the season, correct?
Yeah, season 1 is over.
It's awesome, dude. I had to ask Kyle questions about lore, so I'm trying to get all my things in order going on. What's going on? It's
Some
super
huge
hype.
future implications. that we had
What
to
else we
establish.
got?
Final word.
Final word.
Yeah.
Development on Kingdom Hearts 3 is concluded. It's a good day. It happened. Yeah. Things are happening.
I'll clap too.
Yeah, you should clap.
Yeah.
It's a big game.
Sign off. Oh, dude, I gotta honor my boy Piccolo, dude.
Oh, a new boy.
Yeah. Special beam cannon! Pew!
What do you mean you let him out? Turned out to be a koala.